Hey everybody, this is your boy John, and today's episode is going to be part 2 of Jurassic Park. Really going to be Jurassic World. But anyways, we're going to claw into this Jurassic World trilogy, where we're going to discuss a little bit of Chris Pratt's dino-whispering skills, Bryce Dallas Howard's indestructible heels, and ponder why anyone thought would making a great, super intelligent camouflage T-Rex was a great idea. So again, hold on to your butts because this episode is dino-mite. So let's get geeky. What's up, y'all? Again, this is your boy John, and with me, as always, is Matt.
What's up?
Yes. Anyways.
Yes.
But anyways, guys, today is now the part 2 of Jurassic World. Really, not Jurassic Park, but Jurassic World. This is really where the Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, the basically action-packed duo, of this new generational films, they come to, really into like coexistence in a sense. But anyways, so Matt, the one thing I do like about this kind of trilogy is that, I'm not saying it's not a modern take. I mean, because, in the sense of, the first 3 films, versus these next generational films, it's still somewhat present day, right? But I think the interesting part about it is that, they show you basically where they are at now. We're going to say 20 years later-ish. Well, actually, I'd probably say longer than that. So it's probably, we'll say like 20, 25 years later from where they originally started. You know what I mean? Because I think it's interesting to see where, they started with the park and now they're like, well, let's make a world, baby. Like we're going to make a whole thing out of it. And then they do. I mean, they create basically a bigger, giant park, what they really called a world, of really dinosaurs roaming around and stuff like that. And it's interesting where they do it. And then they're like, the guy who's now running it, not, Dr. Hammond over here, he's just in it for the money and he doesn't give a flying fuck as long as people are literally coming in to just watch it, and experience the dinosaur themed, world that they have going on here. Because if I'm not mistaken too, because, like when originally with Dr. Hammond, he was like, yeah, I just want people to come here, experience it. It doesn't matter how much money, whatever. These people are paying probably thousands of dollars easily or more just to come into the park.
Oh, yeah.
Experience all this shit. And they're like, oh, hey, look, only for $250, you can go ride a velociraptor. I'll tell you what, and you can go have some fun and go buck yourself one. It's like, bro, in my reality here, it's like, who wants to go ride a velociraptor? And just be like, weehaw, like pretend to ride like a horse. Like, there's no way.
You can go ride around in a freaking clear ass ball, or
that too, right? Or
around Jurassic World, and then I don't know, somehow get stuck in the middle of a dinosaur, universe.
Well, the field, it was like a giant ass field, but like the worst part about it is like because there was like a stampede. It was a stampede of dinosaurs that were coming towards them, and you're like.
Right, and you're
like, fuck, I don't get out of here.
The ball that was initially, all of those like weird balls that people were in were supposed to automatically be programmed to return.
You know what I find interesting?
This one failed.
Well, yes, that too. Why does it have to be balls? Like why do they have to be giant clear balls?
Because they can't be squares.
No, I get what you're saying. Why not triangles? I don't know. I mean, no, I don't know. It was a random fact. But no, I when looking at these films,
I don't know.
I find it interesting that, the fan theory that we talked about earlier, where instead of, Chris Pratt playing Owen in this case, playing the little boy in the very first film, like Tim, I think that could have been a nice little, segue into the.
There's a second theory too, though.
I can't wait for this one.
There's a second theory, which. Chris Pratt actually has denied. But I mean, there's really, it's really one of those weird things where you have to kind of look at, this one guy that had put this out on Reddit. This was before the movie came out. So you have to kind of put that into perspective, right?
All right.
But in Jurassic World, his character is a velociraptor trainer. And, you know, if you go back to Jurassic Park, you remember the little chubby kid that Dr. Grant kind of scares him into respecting the velociraptors and dinosaurs. You know, he tells him like, hey, basically, hey, like have a little respect. And he's like kind of scared, like, you know, he's like telling him like, oh, they are pretty scary. You know, they have these like, you know, giant claws on their feet. And they'll basically cut you, you know, along your stomach. They'll cut you along
like
your
neck, and
they'll wait until all your guts fall out, and then they'll eat you, but you'll still be alive.
Right.
And this kid's like, okay. And he's like, well, you know, next time have a little bit more respect for raptors. And he's like, okay. So the theory that this guy is saying is like that Chris Pratt's Owen character is this chubby kid. And the only reason that he's saying this because Dr. Grant tells this kid to have respect for raptors. You know, Chris Pratt's character Owen is a raptor trainer, and in the trailer for Jurassic World, he describes his relationship with the raptors he's training as a relationship based on respect.
I mean, I could see the correlation to that, but I mean, it's kind of a far-fetched one depending on which way you look at it.
It's far-fetched, but I mean, if you take like, you know, this kid getting, you know, kind of the shit kind of scared out of him at that point, you know, with Dr. Grant, and you really don't know. I mean, you can kind of basically, I think Chris Pratt's character was maybe in the Navy, I think is where they were going, where he was, I believe, training with maybe dolphins or something. And they, you know, kind of hired him to basically train these raptors to
kind of do the similar, right? Because they're highly intelligent, you know, beings in a sense, and so
they wanted to train them to basically like learn commands and see if they can be controlled in that certain way. And it would almost make sense if, like, you know, you have Dr. Grant telling them like, hey, have some respect for these raptors. And if this kid, you know, ends up growing up and going into the Navy and does the same kind of thing, if the relationship is based on respect, I mean, you could make that correlation very easily.
True. Well, like I said, I mean, it really depends on your point of view at the end of the day, right? Yeah. I mean, because
it is a fan theory.
I know it's a fan theory, but like at the end of the day, I mean, if it is true, great. If it's not, then it's not really. I don't know. For me, it's like not even noteworthy. It's just kind of like
Chris Pratt had already denied it, so I mean, there's that. So
well, not even that. I mean, he's going to deny it, but like, you know, I would say the real person you should be asking is, the director, like the person who's actually in charge. I still think. I
mean, whether it's Tim or whether it's this Velociraptor kid, it still would be like a cool callback to the OG. You know,
no. I mean, personally, I think Tim would have been the better choice.
Tim would have been a better choice, but. You know, talking about Jurassic World, it did come out in 2015, but the initial story was developed initially by Spielberg in 2001.
Because that's when the third one came out, was in 2001. But I also find this also interesting is that, because I'll read the next part here, but like, so the first draft was written in 2003. It was revised twice in 2004, and then again, they were scrapped. And then in 2006, a new one was written, and then basically, from 07 to 08, there was a hold on it because there was a writer's strike. And then it was like this, it just basically had all this shit going on. And so like it finally came out so many years later. So the fact that it started in 2001 and then like finally they were probably like waiting for it to finally develop. And they're like, we're just going to wait like a few more years after this. So it's like a 15-year process to like.
What's crazy is like, you know, you read the next thing and it's like the original aspects of the plot included dinosaurs escaping to the mainland And then, if that wasn't enough, like an army of genetically modified dinosaur human mercenaries.
Right. So
What the fuck is that?
well, no, you're right. What the fuck does that mean? No, there was also, and it's gonna sound weird. It's not quite the dinosaur human mercenary thing, but like there was a TV show I do remember back. I think it was like in the late '90s, early 2000s. But it was like this one dude. I don't know if he like went back in time or whatever, but like it was like he was talking to like a like talking dinosaur. It was like a civilization. They were like very like highly educated. I cannot remember what that TV show was, and it's driving me nuts. But like, it kind of would remind me of that. But then it's like, you know, like what? Do you have like a fucking dinosaur head and like a human body, or is it like you have a human head and like dino parts?
I keep thinking back to like there's this like really awful movie. You know, we didn't talk about it in our B movie episode, but I mentioned it to Rory at one point.
Oh, great.
Because the name of the movie is Velocipaster.
Oh my God.
It's literally like a reverend or like a church pastor, but he turns into
A velociraptor.
like a velociraptor or dinosaur, like kills people.
So wait, does he like turn it so he's human and then all of a sudden like turns into one and then goes back into being a human again, or is it like just straight up just goes back?
He's basically like a were dinosaur.
What the hell? That doesn't make that is way. So like I said, I'm glad that they never did anything with this because like that would have been weird as shit.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, is it more dinosaur than human, or are they human more dinosaur? Like that, it's just weird, and I'm glad they didn't go that route. But yeah, it's just so weird, you know. But
it probably would have done shit
in the original, you know, in the original concepts. Like Sam Neill and Richard Attenborough were set to reprise their characters, which obviously in the first movie they didn't. Keira Knightley was also in talks for 2 separate roles. I immediately am assuming one of them probably was Claire.
More than likely.
I don't know what the other one was, but you know, they initially, you know, did end up going with this idea of the, you know, primary dinosaur antagonist as the Indominus Rex, which is the, you know, genetically modified hybrid of a T-Rex, which included several other like species, which was the Velociraptor, which you don't find out until much later in the movie.
Yeah.
But it also included cuttlefish, tree frog, and the pit viper.
So a tree frog. I'm thinking like
a tree frog, which is where it gets like the chameleon.
Right. To me, it's like it's like they're only at that point they're basically just like taking that very specific like that's what we're going to take. That's what we're going to take. That's what, like a pit viper, unless it's like the venom, you know, like or something like that. You know, that's the only
right.
thing.
And that was where you know the cuttlefish and the pit viper. You know, obviously it did have like a venom. The cuttlefish added like a certain element, and the tree frog added the chameleon like camouflage ability, which I believe you know from my research it said that the Michael Crichton, I'm assuming that's how you say his name.
Crichton,
yeah,
whatever.
His second novel,
or Crichton, probably, I don't know.
It was a plot element that he had that was unused in the previous films, so that's more likely why they used the Indominus Rex.
Yeah, I mean, so with like, you know, that first movie, I mean, it makes sense to do something probably more like over dramatic, like something like even bigger than the T-Rex, because when you watch the first film ever, yeah, the T-Rex was like, oh my God, I want to see what this looks like. And I want to see what a velociraptor, and I want to see those little like, those little ones that go, wah, you know, and they spit out the venom and shit. But
even though you have like all the dinosaur nerds out there going, well, you know, the velociraptors had feathers and they didn't really.
I'm like, you know what?
Just shut up and watch fucking dinosaurs. Would you just shut up?
I was like, listen, this is one interpretation. You know what? If you're a fucking movie director, why don't you go direct a movie and figure this out? Okay?
Why don't you get a few $1 million and go make your fucking movie? You know,
and then
shut up.
And then just go GFY, okay? But anyways, no. But like, you know, looking at the second, right? So I just find it more interesting that they said, you know what? Instead of doing the Indominus Rex, we're going to do an Indoraptor, which is basically...
Let's just make it smaller and more vicious and...
Basically taking the Indominus Rex and all that shit that goes with it, and then taking the Velociraptor and then just saying, hey, we're gonna engineer that real quick, and we're gonna make 1,000 of these bad boys, and we're gonna make basically an army of them. I mean, no offense, if I had to go against one of those things, fuck that shit. I'd be running the other. I'd be like,
luckily in the film they only made one, but
thank God.
yeah, their plan was to make more of them, but
basically like an army is what I from.
They actually had kind of this like weird device on it where they could control it.
I think it had to do something with Owen's. I think it had something to do with his like research or whatever. Like, because that's what they were using. Like, they used the device, but they were using like the commands of what I believe Owen was teaching the Raptors or something like that to kind of get.
No, it was more of a computerized. Like they were using.
I thought it was his.
No, they were using like a computerized thing where they could like, more of like aim it at some. They really did like just weaponize it, where they were selling it to people where they could use it basically just as a weapon, and it would only attack those that. They would basically say like attack this one and attack that one, and it would just attack those people. I mean, it's still not necessary.
No. I mean, no. Either way you look at it, it's not going to make this any better or whatever. Yeah. But like, I mean, that's basically the majority of the film. I'm just going to say it right now because I know Doctor Wu. The guy who was in every other film. He basically had a big part of creating this bullshit, so he's a bad guy now. That's great. And then, the newest movie,
Dominion.
I unfortunately did not see it, so I don't really have a whole lot to go off of here.
So Dominion was, it was different from most of the other ones because that one was really, more had to do with, they created kind of this like race of locusts. And so, like,
okay,
I believe it was InGen, kind of created this, like, they made this species of wheat that they basically sold to farmers everywhere. And they created this, like, I don't know if it was really Jurassic, but they made these giant ass, locusts. And the locusts were basically like eating just this one like wheat variant of wheat.
Yeah.
And they were trying to really figure out like what the hell was going on because like that was the wheat that was really just getting sold. And they were only really just decimating those crops. And, this is kind of where Dr. Wu kind of turns around and is really saying like, if we don't get these things under control, like they're going to eat everything. And that's basically like they wanted to basically release these things and not kind of keep them in check.
Wait, the dinosaurs or the locust?
The locusts.
Okay.
So this is where, in this movie, this is where you do see Dr. Malcolm because he works for this company and it's called Biosyn.
Okay.
And they, Dr. Wu obviously like they modified the locust, but the locusts really are just eating like fucking everything. Like they're literally like decimating crops and everything.
My question is, does this even have to do with dinosaurs?
Oh, it does. I mean, because it has more to do with like, what it's more of like what the dinosaurs are really doing. Like, because right now, like the Isla Nublar, I believe is how you say it. The dinosaurs that were on there, like when the movie starts, there's a volcanic eruption on that island.
Okay.
And what they're trying to do is they're trying to get the dinosaurs and relocate them. And this is kind of where they learn about
all the locusts doing its thing.
The giant freaking locusts. And this is where, this movie is where Dr. Grant and Dr. Sadler are in this movie.
Okay.
With Dr. Malcolm.
Clearly, I got to watch it. I mean, I know it's been out for...
It has less to do with the, I guess, the dinosaurs in a whole, but I mean, a big part of it is like they're selling these dinosaurs, and you get like the Biosyn is trying to, you know, basically make these locusts, and they're trying to make these. Basically, they're trying to control like the world's food supply. And that's really like what they're trying to do is like they're trying to basically like they sell the grain to everybody, and then these locusts basically like if they don't buy the grain, then they send out the locusts, and the locusts will
destroy their grain, and
then they're forced to buy
wheat.
The wheat from Biosyn. And
talk about a monopoly, man.
There's a character named Charlotte who has a daughter named Maisie.
Oh, Maisie. Okay.
And she modified her own DNA to prevent her from inheriting some disease that she had.
Okay.
And they believe that whatever's in Maisie's DNA is the key to stopping the locust. So that's basically what the whole movie's about. It is about like them getting to Maisie, and they're, you know, so it's kind of weird, and it's not really, I mean, they're keeping dinosaurs and they're selling dinosaurs, and it's
so it's funny, like you talk about a movie that's all about dinosaurs, and this is the one goddamn film that is nothing really directly related to a dinosaur whatsoever. It's basically like a world's problem, and we're like, you know what, we're just going to talk about world issues here, and then talk about like this one human that is somehow, and talk about fucking locust of all things. It's like, how do you, I don't know.
The locusts were fucking huge though.
No, I mean, clearly I need to watch the movie. It just, to me, I'm like, how does this, like, why would you ever make a movie like this unless it actually...
So there is there is a fight between Rexy and the Gigantosaurus.
Of course. The one scene with Rexy, you know? Yeah. Okay.
But then, you know, at the end of the movie, Dr. Wu actually comes around and does a good thing for once.
Wow.
And he actually releases a host of locusts that carries the new pathogen that changes all the other locusts so that they're not like eradicating
the wheat and stuff.
The wheat and everything. So they're basically like regular locusts, but giant ones. I guess I don't know. I gotta watch it, but it just, to me, I mean, locusts are disgusting as it is.
Well, they're disgusting and they're weird, and it's just, trust me, I would never want to be around them fuckers anyways. But no, to me, it's just like when you're listening to just that description of it, at least the first two had something to do with a fucking dinosaur. Like they fucked up, they did some experiment, they did whatever. This one's about, hey, world issues. We're going to control the food supply for literally everyone, because if they don't buy our grain, then we're going to send locusts out to destroy it.
And I mean, it is a little bit of a different movie because, I mean, yeah, it does start with a rescue mission for the dinosaurs because they know that the volcano is erupting, so they're trying to get the dinosaurs off the island.
No, right. But
so they're not all killed.
But then all of a sudden you're just like, hey,
But then it does become more of like kind of that, you know, exposing a conspiracy basically from this like, you know, this genetic corporation called Biosyn, to basically like rule the globe's food market, you know?
No, I mean, I get that. To me, it I don't know, man. Why would you make a film like that if it had nothing to do with basically, again, I'm going to say it. Like if you don't talk about a goddamn dinosaur and you only have maybe a couple scenes of just like, you know, dinosaurs here and there, it's like, then it's not Jurassic Park, baby. It's not the franchise. Like every movie had something to do with like a new breed or a new species or a new whatever. And like there was more problems. There was more things that like issues. There was just like, we all want to see a dinosaur eat the shit out of somebody. Like I'm just saying, like I'd love to see another dude like get eaten off
Well, I mean, you do get to
whatever.
see a Gigantosaurus, so I mean, there's
Yeah, well, I get that, but I mean, that's cool. I mean, I just made up a new dinosaur called the Gigantosaurus. That's like, really?
it's not made up, but
Well, I mean, I get it. I'm just saying in general, though. It just,
and they are making a sequel, so I mean,
of course they are.
It's set to release next year in July.
oh, is it?
It actually does have Mahershala Ali and Scarlett Johansson.
Interesting how it has both of them, especially, ScarJo, man.
But it does not have Chris Pratt or
Oh, so they're really like revamping the series
really
again.
like a different type of movie.
So you know what's funny? You guess what? They're going to make another trilogy, baby, with just those two. You watch.
Well, hey, I mean, if Mahershala Ali's not doing a Blade movie,
might as well give him something. Gotta give him
Might as
something.
well give him a fucking job.
Oh, that's great. Anyways, so I know we talked about some of the characters and whatnot. I mean,
we talked about Owen. I mean, he's in all three, obviously. We talked about the fan theory.
Yeah.
Claire Deering is Bryce Dallas Howard,
which is basically, again, she's the other
you
antagonist.
probably know her more from. She's actually been directing some of the Mandalorian episodes.
Well, she's also the daughter of. Do you know who? No, you really have no idea.
The name's off the top of it's like right on the tip of my tongue.
Ron Howard.
Yes,
the guy who's played in Thursday, Friday, Happy Days. But I'm sorry, that was an old TV show. I know, and that's weird for me to say that. But yes, that was that guy, Ron Howard. He's been a very well-known director too. But that's his. That's anyways. But anyways, and then I didn't know about Vincent D'Onofrio here.
Yeah, he was Vic Hoskins, which he kind of plays the bad guy in the first one.
Oh, okay. Because I maybe have remembered him, but I didn't really like. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, he plays the bad guy in the first one because he plays kind of like the guy that's kind of in charge of security, kind of. But he eventually just kind of takes over when the park kind of hits.
Oh yeah, he's like
shit as a fan, and he just wants to use the Raptors for
his own use. Yeah,
like
I'm pretty sure it's his own use and everything else. But
Lowry, who's played by Jake Johnson, he's in the first and the third one.
Yeah.
Dr. Wu, he's in all three.
Dr. Wu.
Dr. Grant, Dr. Sadler, they're in the last one, and Dr. Malcolm. He's listed in all three, but he's really just like
the next two because, like, you saw him in the first one, but like a brief, like
a picture of him, yeah,
and it has nothing to do with
In the second one, in the second Jurassic World, he's really just in the last, maybe a few scenes.
Yeah, again, so he's not even like fully.
And then the third movie, he's in that, he's in the third movie, not the whole movie, but he's in the third movie more prominently.
No, I understand. But I love how they're like, it's all three movies. And I'm like, I would say like here and there, like little bits and pieces. And I was like, the third movie, yes, he's
sort of credited, but not really.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, no, I mean, you're looking at the themes of the movie, or really movies. I mean, yes, this one was more the greed, the power of like, this is where you're seeing how dinosaurs now can like make you that money.
I mean, they literally built the Jurassic World park on top of
the old one,
the old park
that Hammond already created, which I find interesting because then it's like, then I think it was in the first movie, if I'm not mistaken, they kind of like explore a little bit of like the old park. A little bit here and there, depending on where you're at, it's kind of nice to see that. But at the same time, it's like, okay, so the guy bought the park. He just basically said, screw it. We're going to build on top of the park.
Well, and there's some scenes where they show like, they show the original OG like Jeep.
Yeah, no, right. I'm just saying like certain things that you see and it's great. And I think you actually see the, like some of the gates that they had in the beginning of the first film of the original one. But like, other than that, it's like, it's cool that you can see all that, but at the same time, in my opinion, I mean, I'm going to say it, like if I was buying a park, excuse me, I would demolish that shit. I would just completely level it out and rebuild the whole thing. Like, why would you just say, I'm just going to put it right on top of it and call it a day? Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's
one of those things. especially when you get to the level of Jurassic Park or Jurassic World, whatever you're doing. I mean, you're talking about genetically modified dinosaurs, and you have this, right? You know, you have this history, right? Like, you have what happened in the 3 movies. Like, there are events that are linked to these movies.
Yep.
They're linked, and you have this history, and you're like, we can make a shit ton of money if we build another park, but like, instead of what they did, like, let's microchip all of the dinosaurs so we know, where they're going. We can track their movements. But not, like, let's not do fucking background checks and make sure that the people that we're fucking working with, like, are legitimate people and not in it for money.
Yeah, you mean like every other fucking company maybe on the planet Earth, like who actually does background checks on, people and does all that shit? No, I agree with you. I mean, because it's funny because, like, you're right. I mean, it's cool that they want to do the microchip thing. That's great. But yes, I mean, the people, yes, influence the decisions that were made and, so on and so forth. But at the same time, as we've already explained, that, when you look at Dr. Malcolm here and he's talking about, the chaos theory and things like that, it's like, did we want to learn from the first 3 or do we just want to continue moving forward about what the fuck happened? And then he's just like, he's like, you know what? We're just going to coexist. We're just gonna say, fuck my idea. We're just coexisting now. It's fine.
No matter how much you plan or how much you do, you're still not going to change what the outcome is going to be because you can't predict what these animals, like, these dinosaurs were not designed
To be controlled.
Like they were in a zoo. They were wild creatures.
Hold on. They were wild fucking animals, man, and they will do whatever the fuck they please. And you can tell because look at the T-Rex. Look at the Gigantosaurus. Look at all these damn creatures.
To be honest, nobody wants to go to a park where you have a bunch of herbivores.
Well, not even that. I mean, even with the carnivores, man, I'm not going to lie. You saw with that.
Unless you're designing them like with no teeth and they just go, yes.
Yes, I know. Let me gnaw on you. No, I mean, I agree.
Like if you had like, velociraptors with no teeth or claws or hands or you have to make them like super retarded or something.
Like, hello. No, I mean, I look at these dinosaurs and I'm like, hey, listen, like, it's a great idea to a degree, but you look at the fact that it's, again, they're carnivores. They're not omnivores, man. They are carnivores. They will eat anything.
Can we make one that's purple and sings?
Is it called Barty? We don't want to talk about Barty on this show, but no, I agree.
We're going to have a Barniosaurus.
Barniosaurus. He's like, I love you, you love me. Anyways, I'm not going there, man. I'm not doing that. That is oh God, those are memories boy. I don't want to talk about now. No, I just find it interesting that, when these guys were, building this park and they were like, hey, we're going to create these new, again, the Gigantosaurus, and you got the Indominus Rex, and then you got the Indoraptor. I love how it's the Indo, and then it's just Giganto. It's like Indo Giganto.
The Indo.
The Indo. Like, so because the Indominus Rex, because that was the one that, like I said, it was the one that was like jumping kind of like in that dolphins, like, or like the kind of like the aquatic amusement kind of aspect, and he's just like, hey, and he just has this big ass fucking chompers just squirts. They're basically like chews down a goat. But it's like, it's cool that you're seeing this, but at the same time, what happens, Matt? What happens to that fucking creature? I'm pretty sure that motherfucker like starts eating actual people in the park, and that's why it goes out of control and does all this other shit. So, because then you're thinking to yourself, oh, this is great. Let's just have a fun time. We're just going to go see this animal or this really dinosaur who can basically kill me at any moment. And then all of a sudden it actually does that because they don't have any control anymore. And they start to lose control of the actual dinosaurs and shit. And so so what makes you think it's a good idea?
The dinosaur that you're talking about is the Mosasaurus.
Is that what it was? I couldn't remember the name.
So it's the Mosasaurus, a giant aquatic lizard with huge jaws and sharp teeth.
Yes, that one. I will tell you right now, I would not go see that exhibit. I would go the other fucking way. There's no fucking way in hell that I would go and sit and watch that thing right there and there. I like, you want to talk about, well, I think, okay, Matt, what do you think? That or Megalodon? Like if you had a choice to go see either or. Again, I'm gonna tell you right now, Megalodon's technically bigger than that thing, and I would not want to see either one of those. But I'm telling you right now, I do not, for the life of me, want to see either one of them in real life. That is not something that I would be anywhere near, because no, there's no fucking way.
So the length of this thing is 56 feet.
Okay, Matt, I just explained to you. I would run the other fucking way. I tell you right now, I would not be anywhere near that thing. I mean, that's probably bigger than a regular fucking shark. Easily.
56 feet. Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't really know how long a great white is, but I guarantee you it's definitely a little bit shorter than that. It has to be. It's definitely not the same size as a great white. I believe, well, actually, I don't know really what the biggest shark is, but usually the great whites are the ones that are probably the most predatorial out of them all. But like, if you could do it like a size comparison, I would be curious, because I don't know if like the great white or that would be bigger. But again, I mean, just looking at those, looking at a megalodon. I mean, I know a megalodon is a hell of a lot bigger than that. I think it's like 100 or 150 feet, or I don't know exactly how big, but it was. Have you ever seen the movie Meg? Which I never technically did. I just saw previews and other shit with it, and I was all set with watching that shit because that thing was fucking massive. There was no way I'd be anywhere near that thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty freaking huge, and I mean, I don't know, obviously they didn't live at the same time, so it's hard to imagine like which one would live which one would survive in a fight between the two.
Oh, I would say a megalodon. If I was to choose, that thing is massive. I don't know exactly how big, but it is
But
massive.
This site actually does a comparison of the two. And I'll go through some of it.
Okay.
So the Mosasaurus size is 36 to 56 feet long.
Still,
The Megalodon 34 to 67 feet long.
oh, so they were roughly the same size. I thought the megalodon was bigger.
The Mosasaurus is up to 4. There's way too many zeros. I'm assuming that's 40,000 pounds, not 400,000 pounds.
Holy shit.
There's way too many zeros on there. So up to 40,000 pounds. The Megalodon was up to 65,000 pounds. So, I mean, it's still pretty close.
It's like comparing fucking King Kong and goddamn Godzilla between the two. But I'm just saying, like, I think the Megalodon might have had a better advantage to this. But
so yeah, movement. What is it? The Mosasaurus. The Mosasaurus has large pectoral girdles. I'm just looking at how it's spelled.
girdle. Sorry, no, it's the way it is. But
and does short bursts of speed up to 30 miles per hour.
Okay.
The
Megalodon
Megalodon has a cruising speed of 11 miles per hour.
Oh, that thing is slow
And it
as hell.
can go up to 30 miles per hour.
Okay, just kidding. So, yeah, I would say they're kind of evenly matched. I mean, Megalodon has a bit of advantage with the weight in kind of the length, but like.
So, yeah, the jaws and teeth. The Mosasaurus has a tapered jaw 4 feet long, open jump to 3 feet, 40 to 50 teeth, and teeth are 25 to 30 millimeters long. The Megalodon has jaws that are 6.5 feet long, open to a 75-degree angle, up to 250 teeth.
Yep. Okay.
And teeth are up to 7 inches long.
So what I'm hearing is that the Megalodon would totally win in a fight right now. That's all I got to say. It clearly has the advantage to this one.
I would say the Megalodon has. I mean, obviously the size Megalodon has an advantage.
Even the weight,
the movement. I would say the Mosasaurus probably has more movement, only because the way that it can move.
I mean, maybe by a little bit, but I would still say that.
I would say that the Mosasaurus probably can move a little bit better, but when you're looking at jaws and teeth, the Megalodon obviously has that.
I mean,
And with bite force, it can definitely.
I would say the Megalodon, if it was to, go against the, the, what was it, Matt? I can't even say the right term, but Mosasaurus.
Mosasaurus.
There we go. If it was to go against that, like literally the amount, like sure, speed can go into factor here, but like if you're talking like even just one quick bite, that shit's done. Like all he needs is one clamp jaw, like boom, that's it. He's done. All I'm saying is if I had to go against those two, I know we kind of went down a little bit of a rabbit hole here, but
so this does give an advantage to the Mosasaurus as far as intelligence. But I mean, for senses, it gives it to the Megalodon. Predatory behavior would be Mosasaurus, but at the end of the day, I think it does give a final tally to the Megalodon 4, Mosasaurus 3. So, I mean, I think it would be a close fight.
Oh, I think it would too. I just think that Megalodon would have certain advantages that the Mosasaurus wouldn't have, only because Mosasaurus might have a quicker advantage to certain things, could maybe escape a little bit quicker. But at the same time,
I definitely think it could maybe like outmaneuver maybe the Megalodon.
But all I said is all the Megalodon needs is just one fucking quick clamp and just let it rip. And like he wouldn't even need to let go.
But the thing is, I mean, if you're looking at the Megalodon maybe doing a quick bite where the Mosasaurus might not go for a quick bite, he might try to lure him in, and then once he goes in, he might not be able to turn around as quick, so he can. It's depending. It's really tough because they weren't alive at the same time, so it's hard.
No, like I said, either way, the reason why I said I brought those two up is because either way, I would not want to be near them.
Oh no, I definitely would not be like. I definitely would not be sitting like in the stands watching a Mosasaurus like
chomping down.
Hey, look at us feed him. He's gonna jump like 3 feet out of the water, and
it's really like, holy shit, he's jumping out of the water, and you're looking at him like, that wasn't 3 feet in the air, bro. That was a lot higher than I expected. And then the fact, like I said, he then proceeded to eat actual people.
No, but I mean, it just goes to the thing, like, greed and power for these movies. It's like such a strong motivation that it completely ignores common sense and logic. And like you can look at the history and you go, it really never really worked out, like ever. The whole thing never really worked out. But like,
you know what? It was always funny though. It's always the villain. The villain always gets eaten by dinosaurs. That's at least the best plot twist. It's always the villains always get eaten.
The villain always get eaten, but they never learn. And they're like, hey, you know what? We need to create a new dinosaur that's meaner, cooler, and more appealing. But it doesn't like stop there. Like, no. Well, now we need to create one
that's smaller
and but more vicious.
But does the same exact thing as the bigger one.
Yeah. It's like, come on, guys. Like, it didn't even work then. And then like the second movie, like they make a smaller fucking version, and it's like, you can make it a tiny, like mini version, and it still won't fucking work because you're creating a thing that can't be controlled. Like you're just creating more problems. And at the end of the third movie, all of these dinosaurs that were like captured and like in these, because they had like all, basically almost one of every dinosaur like in these cages.
Oh yeah.
They were all at the end of Dominion, they were all fucking released. And they're all like free.
Where?
I don't know. They were just all roaming around.
Well, no, like in the like a different island, or like the original island still, or
I don't believe they were on the island. I believe they were just in the city. I believe.
That's even better. They were just let them roam, no problem. It's like Planet of the Apes, but really roaming of the dinosaurs.
But that's what Dr. Malcolm was saying is like we have to learn how to coexist with them.
Well, and
because they're here, and now like they're just kind of free, and it's like, okay, well now they're doing another movie, so now it's like, well, okay, well what kind of shit are we getting
to do now? No, I mean personally, this is what they should have done. From the very first film, what they should have done is just been like, okay, so they engineered it, cool. Guess what? Leave those 2 islands alone and literally have like government control and say, don't ever come here because trust me, you're not going to want to be here. If anyone ever releases them into the public, then this
What
is
they should have done was just like maybe just riddle the whole island with cameras and create like a TV show or something that was like, live stream dinosaur 24/7 website and call it a fucking day and count of, subscriptions.
But they're like, no. We need to.
But it's really the question, like, how could it work? And I honestly, I don't think it can. I don't think that I don't think if you're looking at Jurassic Park and
what reality
making dinosaurs, like it wouldn't ever work. Even in the in the narrative with the Jurassic Park, like it wouldn't work. And you could put the most high tech controls in place that you want, but like if you you have the narrative of life will find a way, it's never going to work because the dinosaurs are always going to want what they're going to want, and humans are always going to do what humans always do in these movies is they're going to always want money or power by capturing or killing or doing whatever they're
dissecting or whatever the case is.
Fucking parasailing over an island just to take a picture and then they get fucking lost. Like, it's like, come on, guys. No. Can you be fucking smart? Like, there's been 2 movies already where people have died and have been killed, and you're just going to parachute over a fucking island with dinosaurs? Let's be fucking smart here. Come on. It doesn't take a fucking genius to figure this out.
Apparently you do. Apparently you need to be a fucking rocket scientist or some shit and be like, hey, you know what? That's probably not a good idea to be flying over the island like that.
You know what I really want to do? I really want to waste thousands of dollars to go to Jurassic World so that I can possibly be killed by dinosaurs.
Isn't that like a great summary? Like, hey, what was it? 1,000 Ways to Die? Like getting killed by a dinosaur?
How did you spend your summer vacation? Oh, I was attacked by pterodactyls at Jurassic World.
And even better, I had an Indominus Rex come right after me because I had no fucking clue it was an actual dinosaur. To me, it's like, you're right. If this was actually a real thing, if people said, oh, we found a way to recreate, dinosaurs and see what they like. And I'm like, I'd look at them and be like, are you, we have movies. Okay. I'm going to say it. We're like, do you want to take a look at these movies that, people have created? It's kind of like what I always joke around of if we were like, hey, what if aliens, came to Earth? I'd be like, watch Independence Day. We have movies like this. I mean, granted, I understand it's fiction, but it's pretty damn close to probably what we would do. And I'm telling you right now, if you think that making dinosaurs and, selling them or putting them on display or
I would literally just show that one scene in Alien where the alien is literally bursting out of that guy's chest and be like, you really want aliens?
You want aliens?
Watch this scene and tell me if you still want aliens after that.
You're like, ah! Is it actually? I think it was Sigourney Weaver when she actually was so fucking scared that I think it was in that scene when that happened. No one knew exactly, but I know it's totally off topic. But
because it wasn't. They didn't. They didn't know. I believe they went off the cuff with it. They didn't actually.
They didn't tell. Yeah, but only of course the guy with the alien coming out of his stomach. But everybody, yeah. But anyways, no.
Yeah, they wanted to actually have the real reaction of everybody, which everybody was like, "Oh my god."
But anyways, no, but I agree with you. It's like, you look at that kind of scenes, you look at even the movies, I'd be like, so do you really want a T-Rex roaming the city by any chance? And let's say you were, I don't know, in a porta shitter or maybe a telephone booth, which doesn't actually exist anymore. Not that I know of.
Maybe for like in England or something. They
Well,
do, but
I was going to say telephone booths. I mean, you might have it in like Midwestern states if you're at rural parts, but I don't know, maybe. But anyways, like you know, and you're telling me you want some T-Rex to be like, "Hoi!" and like just take off and yes, oh, let me get that to go. I appreciate it. Oh wait, was that their to go box?
Yeah.
just like
I mean, if you look at most of the movies, right? Like you have Dennis in the first movie. I mean, he's literally like stealing embryos. He locks down the system, and then when the system is shut down, they have to shut down the power, which unlocks every paddock and everything. Like it opens everything up, and that's how the T-Rex and all the raptors get loose.
What I find interesting is that
Creates all the chaos to begin with.
So I love how, yes, I understand like him doing that, it shuts down the system. Why did they do that? That's my first question.
Because he was basically like when they hired him, he was the only one that they put on that could go through that kind of code and do it as quickly as he could.
No, I get it, but I felt like there should have been a really good backup in place because that is a dumb idea to have.
One of the theories that I was reading, and I don't know if it's like because Dodson is actually, I believe he's in this third movie. I don't know if he's actually in the third movie or if he's referenced.
Okay.
But he's one of the ones like that's kind of responsible for Biosyn. Like he's one of the guys in Biosyn. And he is the one that hires Dennis to steal the embryos.
Oh.
And one of the theories is that like stealing the embryos and like locking down the system and creating all this chaos, it wasn't really about stealing the embryos and getting those. It was more about creating the chaos on that island.
True. Okay. I see you. I
don't know if that was like really the point of what he was attempting to do, but I mean, it could make sense if that's, you know.
I mean, it very well could be. I mean, that's a great theory. I think that's a great theory because now that we're talking from the very first film to now the sixth film, it's like that'd be a really good correlation right there.
That's like fucking Emperor Palpatine shit right there.
It's like, holy shit, you just talked about something that happened in the past, now it's in the future. Like, holy shit. No, but I agree. It's that very well could be. And honestly,
I mean, it's like just dumb decisions all around. Like you have, you know,
wait, so you're saying
you have a whole second island that the first park was island A, and now you have an island B, and the second movie, they just couldn't leave them alone. No. Let's go study them. Well, we need research. We need to find out what they're doing over there by themselves.
Well, they're fucking each other. That's what they're doing. Yeah. They're really killing each other.
We need to find out what they're doing. We can't just leave them alone. No. Let's send some people over to research. Well, and you know, it doesn't go very well.
Right.
Because they actually do steal the baby T-Rex.
and that's your dumb first mistake.
And they bring the actual T-Rex, like they're trying to bring the freaking T-Rex over to the main city, and the thing runs free.
And it's going through actual residential houses. And then this is where one of my favorite scenes is when that guy was in the telephone booth and he actually dies because the T-Rex basically, no, did he eat him or did he stomp, like use his foot? Or like she uses his foot, Rexy uses the foot. I don't know what's
like. I think it was a foot.
Because all of a sudden he's like, and you're like, well, all right, that's quick and easy.
I remember like one of the scenes, and I think it was like a little girl when she was like looking outside and you know in the pool area, and she goes into the parents' room and she's like, Mommy, there's a monster outside, and like they're like, there's nothing. The monsters aren't real, and you know, just go back to sleep. And they go, but you know, they're going in the room, and they're like, see, there's nothing over here. You know, there's nothing.
And then they go back to the front.
They literally open the windows, and there's a fucking T-Rex like in their fucking pool,
and they're like, Red, you know. But no, I mean, I agree. But like, you know, you're looking at the like I said, you know, you looked at the first two,
right?
The original.
They couldn't fucking leave them alone, and then. Now you have these movies, right? Like you have these movies now. Let's create a bigger, meaner dinosaur. Like that would be cool. It'll bring more people.
And not only that, let's make it fucking go camouflaged and basically hide from everything. No problem.
Yeah, it'll be smarter. It'll be better. You know, let's add Velociraptor to it because that'll be better.
And fuck it, why don't we add some venom to it and make it really poisonous so that way nobody could live with, through that shit. And it's like on top of that, so how do you kill the fucking thing at the point that you can't? And I'm like, well, then why the fuck did you think, oh, that's a great idea?
Well, you can't kill it because you can't fucking see the thing.
And you can't fucking kill it because now there's like so many other things in place. And you're like,
well, and now, it's like, okay, well, that's not enough because now
we need something smaller.
Now we need something smaller. And you know what? Like, the Indoraptor isn't just like by itself in some parts of the movie because with Owen Grady training the raptors, like there were a set of 3 in the movies, and initially he had some kind of level of control because they looked at Owen as kind of like the alpha. Like there was like a kind of respect between the two of them. But the raptor now was kind of like in control now.
Well, not only that, I mean, I'm just looking at the
even Rex, like when he first came out and was like doing like the really loud like rah, rah, the like
I know exactly what you're talking about.
The raptor noise is like they instantly turned on all the humans and were like, nope, this is our new mother. This is mom now.
Right. I'm just saying with the Indoraptor and shit. It's like, we couldn't leave the big ass fucking Indominus. There we go. Indominus, Rex. We couldn't leave that fucker alone. No. We got to make something even more sophisticated, even more complex, even more smaller, but basically the same fucking thing. And then basically have the Velociraptors turn to this as its mother and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
And then on top of that, the fact that, like I've said earlier, that they were going to make basically an army at one point of these fucking things, and thank God they only made one, but they were trying to make multiple, and I'm thinking to myself, motherfucker, how the fuck were you going to, if you can't beat one, what makes you think you're going to beat 1,000 of them?
And then, on top of that, most of these movies all have something to do with selling dinosaurs.
Wait, hold on.
Which sounds like a great idea.
You know what that sounds like, Matt? It's kind of like prostitution, but in this case, is it dino-toosted? Is it like are you selling like that? Like, I mean, granted, it's not the same idea in some ways.
It just sounds like a bunch of dumb shits doing dumb shit. Like,
I mean, that is dumb shit. You're absolutely right. Just like Jeff Goldblum looking at a pile of shit, going, hey, that's a pile of shit. That's the same idea, but making it sexy. It's the same idea.
Like none of this works, and like for them to continue doing it is just like silly. Like it's just silly.
I mean, Matt, why you gotta be silly?
There's no way any of this would work in real life. Like
real life? What's real life?
This would be like, no, you're done. You're done. Go fuck yourself. No, you're done.
Wow. Okay, Matt. I'm quite impressed with what you just said there. But yes, that's exactly what I would say too. Because at that point, you're like, and whose bright idea was this? Is it the current administration that we have currently in place? No. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it very well could be, but it's I
mean, could you imagine like you have a friend, right?
Oh wait, whose friend are we talking about?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
But you have a friend, right? And they're like, "Hey, we're going on vacation. It's gonna be awesome. Like, we're going to this new attraction place, and you're like, oh, what's it called? Oh, we're going to Jurassic World, man. It's gonna be awesome." And you're like,
"Bro, do you know what happened?
Wait, where are you going? Oh, Jurassic World. They have like fucking dinosaurs and all kinds of shit there.
It's supposed to be like Walt Disney World,
Are you fucking insane? Like, it's like." What in your right mind thinks that is a great idea? Like, I want to go and see fucking dinosaurs up close.
So, what's even worse? Because then they'll be like, well, it's just like going to Walt Disney World, but like in this case, it's all dinosaurs. And you're like, that's not the same fucking thing, man, because Walt Disney World ain't going to have fucking dinosaurs that are trying to kill you.
You know what I really want to do? I want to ride around in a bubble so a fucking Triceratops can fucking knock my ass around like a fucking, like,
a bowling ball going through a pinball.
Like a freaking pool ball. like
a pool ball or pinball machine. I mean, something. I mean, at that point, it's like, oh, yeah, you want a real fun time? Here's a triceratops for
I
you.
can fucking be chased by dinosaurs and running around in a freaking clear ass ball.
I mean, and I keep telling you this, man. I understand that Jurassic World, Jurassic Park, whatever, which way you look at it, they have the need to basically say, hey, we're going to make sure that, all these movies, there's going to be one fucking idiot, or at least, I wouldn't say just one. I'd say at least a few of them that we're going to be like, let's make it really stupid. So that way, hopefully the smart people in the room can be like, yeah, you're right. You know what? I would never want to bring dinosaurs back to life because we have idiots that have already proven that this was never going to work from the beginning. But then like I said, the only way I could ever see, them trying to ever do something with dinosaurs, it's like, again, understanding, I would say at least the DNA portion of it. Like maybe like certain aspects of it, maybe you could do it that way. Like actually creating these fuckers, like actually making them real life and like selling them or, weaponizing them or doing whatever the fuck you want. I'm like, okay, well, you know what? It's like, here's the red button, buddy. Go ahead and press it because you might as well just end the world fucking right there too while you're at it. I mean, it's just stupid.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have just 3 movies. Now you have fucking 6 movies.
Hold on.
Where
7.
things...
Going to be 7.
Well, it's going to be 7, and, I don't know where you go from what has already been happening, but it's really kind of crazy if they go with another dinosaur that nobody's heard of, and hey, we're creating a new dinosaur that can
slap the shit out of you. I mean, it's called the Slaposaurus, baby. It's like,
especially if they somehow go with these like dinosaur human mercenary things.
Oh, that would be funny as hell. I'd be like, where the fuck are you going with this? With ScarJo and Marshall Ali? I'd be like, where are you going with these two? No, and I feel like it's interesting too to mention that, like, they get rid of Chris Pratt, they get rid of Bryce Dallas Howard, they do all that, and they're like, we're just gonna throw in 2 randos. We're just going to be like, yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I love ScarJo, man. I love her. But Mahershala Ali, I mean, granted, you know what? Fine. Go ahead. Give him a job because Blade, it sucks. It's fucking whatever at this point.
Well, now you got to fit the DEI,
I mean, that's true. You got to have a,
You got to fit the woman in the...
yeah, I see. So that's why they're doing it. Yeah, that makes sense. And then they're like, hey, look, best motion picture. Hey, it's a pile of dog shit, but hey. No, I mean...
Thank you, Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah, thank you. Even though we didn't know that you were the one in charge of these movies from back in the day. Yeah. So, anyways, guys and gals, I think we've touched on this quite a bit, Matt.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't, like I said, we suggest that basically everything that we've ever talked about, including like this, we wouldn't mention it if we didn't think that it's, at least worth watching it at least once, right? You don't have to watch it like multiple times unless you really like dinosaurs and, idiots that like to get eaten by, fucking dinosaurs on toilets or telephone booths or whatever, or just fucking loving dinosaurs in general. But like, it's I would say
I do enjoy watching these movies. I mean,
I mean, sometimes they're just funny as hell to watch because you think to yourself like, okay, so this really did happen. Like, whose bright idea was it to fucking make a Indoraptor and be like, yep, here we go, boys. We're going to make an army of these fuckers. And you're like, yeah, no, I'm all fucking set with this shit. I need to get me off this fucking island right now. I don't even want to be here right now. Like, get me the fuck away.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's crazy. It's just crazy. I would never really, truly want this to ever happen, man. I would probably shit myself if this really did happen.
No, and I would never be caught dead in a dinosaur attraction park, whatever you want to.
Why not do it with me, man? Why don't we go?
Jurassic Park, a Jurassic World. You can call it fucking Jurassic Land. Whatever you want to call it. I am not going there.
So what I'm hearing is, man, is that if I was that dumbass friend that told you to go with me, you'd be like, "Fuck you, we're not going together." I can tell you that much.
Hey, have a good vacation, bud.
Go fuck yourself and get me out of my face. And I'd be like, fine, I guess I'll see you never.
Make sure you bring a goat for that T-Rex.
Because he might want one. I'll be like, I'll bring about 50 of them fuckers. But anyways, guys, no, we appreciate it. We enjoy the humor that we always have together. But, again, check us out on YouTube, man. Check us, all over the platforms that we keep mentioning, Spotify, Apple, all that fun stuff. Again, check out some merch if you'd like to. Hell, even check out Matt's book that's coming out on August 1st, baby. Whoop, whoop. And again, until next time, boys and girls,
stay geeky.